All right, you're good to go.
All right, I'd like to call to order the Board of Selectmen's meeting on 4/22/2020, and I'll turn it over to Tim for a statement.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, just a moment here. All right. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions on the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 19, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 orders imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Freetown Board of Selectmen is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort is being made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by accessing the live stream of this meeting on the town's YouTube channel, youtube.com/freetownma, or by visiting freetownma.gov/freecam. In the event the live stream is unsuccessful, I am recording this meeting, and the recording will be posted to the town's YouTube channel as soon as I am able to following the conclusion of this meeting. You're good to go?
Thank you, Tim. David?
Okay. Just give you a little update. We did get the $5,500 in for the Board of Health related to COVID expense. We also got a check in the amount of $11,000 plus or minus as part of the CARES Act for Medicare. That came in yesterday. We had to track it back because we weren't sure what the $11,000 was for. I honestly don't know why they sent that, but I will follow up on that and find out what as part of the COVID-19 CARE Act. So I'm not specifically sure why they gave us the money, but I'll find out and get back to the board. I did participate yesterday in the governor's CEO managers meeting, the briefing, COVID briefing. Lieutenant Governor Polito was the person who was holding the meeting. The big news, two pieces of big news, I guess. One is that the schools closed until the end of the school year. That was announced prior to this meeting, but that was one of the big topics. The other is that the state has got $2.5 billion in federal aid. They're waiting guidance on how they're going to parcel out that money, but they know three things. One, that the funds necessary have to be spent on necessary expenditures related to COVID-19 activities. It can't be used for like revenue, the fact that we may lose revenue because of collections, can't be used for that kind of thing. The items that you purchase with the money they give you as of March 27th, they can't be part of our operating budget and now taken out to save money. And the funds will be available for the period of 3/1/20 through December 31st, 20. So they're making plans. They're still waiting for guidance from the state as to how, that money is going to be available. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Derek.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get video. I was able to do it via call in, so I'm here.
All right. I can just finish with what I got. And
Yep.
They did do a number of questions regarding the state budget, and they're still trying to get a handle on projected receipts for the upcoming year as a result of the COVID-19 virus. Obviously, there's going to be some impact felt to state and local aid, as I'm sure, as well as Chapter 70 as a result of the declining revenues, unless they once again use stabilization or float some kind of a bond to offset any potential losses. They talked about a new dashboard for input of data by health officials related to the COVID virus. They made an announcement that MEMA is now receiving, all law enforcement agencies now have a stockpile that is available for protective gear that hadn't been made available before, but now is going to be distributed by MEMA. I talked to I emailed the chief. The chief informed me that they've already gotten their protective gear. there was a discussion about people who were self-employed and how they were going to collect. They talked about contract tracing and how they're going to be working with the Board of Health regarding setting up a system that will allow us to track people who come into contact with other people that potentially are positive. The second big issue is they're sticking by the May 4th date in terms of a reopening, but there is a lot of talk, I guess, and the managers all felt it would be better to wait, but they're talking about extending that March 4th date to March 15th. It was expressed that we're currently in the surge, although this morning on television they said we've had 5 days of declining positives. Let me see what else I got here. Yeah, there was concern about the managers about a fast reopening. And then the other thing that was talked about, what the Lieutenant Governor said she wanted to address, there was a question by one of the managers about towns that had state forests or had state recreation areas, and whose responsibility that was to have enforcement on those. And she said she was going to get back to us. However, we did the no parking, so we can actually tag the cars up at Profile Rock. And we have posted now, we posted them last week, but the board at their last Wednesday meeting voted to have an enforcement of the prohibition on the use of recreational facilities in town. And as a result, the police now have police power to order them off of the town properties. I'm going to be putting together one of the issues that has been talked about quite a bit on the managers board is about people who have vacation time remaining, and how the various and sundry towns are addressing that issue. I'm going to have, I have added it to the agenda for Monday, subject to Lisa's approval. But I think we need to talk about that, how we're going to handle people who have substantial vacation time, and how we're going to address that issue. There are 3 or 4 different options that I'm going to present. So that's basically it from me. Yeah, okay, that's it.
Anybody have any questions? Charlie, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
I'm on mute?
No, Charlie is.
Oh,
There you go.
Somebody was playing with buttons, I think.
Sorry about that.
Good.
There was a lot of background noise.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry about that, Tim.
No problem.
No, I'm good. I understand everything, and we'll have some issues we'll have to talk about next meeting, but I'm good.
Okay, thank you. George, any questions?
yeah, I just want a clarification on what the issue was with vacation time.
We really, that isn't part of the agenda per se. I think it would be better to hold off until the meeting when I frame up. There's no issue that we just have a number of people, and we're not sure about that number yet. I'm going to get a clarification on it in terms of employees that still have vacation time remaining, and what becomes of that vacation time. Are they going to be, like I said, I don't want to get into a full-blown discussion about it because I want to frame it out first before we start discussing it in any kind of detail.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Derek, do you have anything?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about the delay again. I couldn't get in on the video. I wanted to give you guys some updated numbers and then just tell you a little bit about what we've been dealing with this week. So right now, our updated numbers for the U.S., we're at 776,093. In Massachusetts, we're at 41,199. 1,556 new cases yesterday. Bristol County, we're at 1,852. As far as Freetown goes, we've been having an issue, not just a Freetown issue, it's been a South Coast issue. between some reporting with labs and state and getting information. So we actually haven't reported any new cases since Saturday. We knew that that was not the case, but we couldn't, without having, the positive report in Maven, we weren't comfortable going public. As of right now, as of this morning, we have received 2 new cases. I expect that number as the course of the day goes on to go up. They fixed the issue that they were having last night. So what we're expecting today, that the numbers are going to start trickling in as they have fixed that issue. We've been dealing with a lot of smaller businesses in town that have been having some small outbreaks. We've been following up with them. They've been taking up a lot of time lately. The CTC is the Community Tracing Collaborative. Basically what that is we've been, when we get a positive case, we're tracing the patient, their contacts, and we have to follow up with these people. That takes up a tremendous amount of time. The CTC is being stood up by the state, and they are basically going to be trying to take over as much of that as they can. So what will happen is we'll get the cases in the morning. Lori will go through, she'll pick what cases, if they belong to a community home, one of our more high risk areas, then they'll stay with us. If it's, a patient and it's not really part of a cluster, then those will end up getting reported by the state. The state slowly rolled out with the big cities last week. They're picking up more cities and towns this week. We are in that group of being picked up for this week, which I believe is starting tomorrow. And then as of May 1st, the entire state will be enrolled. So that'll be happening this week. The other issue that we've been discussing, I think we're going to do, this week was more about the tracing. Next week, I think we're going to start talking more about day camps, summer camps, what's going to happen with them. Obviously, everyone knows that the schools were canceled for the year yesterday. I'm thinking that day camps are probably going to fall under that same umbrella, but it's just too early to tell yet. We'll be having those discussions, I'm sure, next week. And summer events, we've already been informed, Lakeside's going to be postponing, Strawberry Festival as well. I've had discussions with fireworks. They have not made a decision yet as what they're doing, but we have had discussions. That's kind of where we're at right now. I'm really hoping that we can get some more solid numbers today that we can get reported. That's been extremely frustrating and stressful, not having numbers that, well, we know that we have positive cases coming in, but we haven't been able to report them or track them even because we haven't gotten any positives. But hopefully that'll come to an end today. That's pretty much it for my update.
Derek, I have a couple of questions. When you get a positive case, for instance, in a household and you're tracing it, do you recommend to the other people in the household to get tested? Because otherwise I feel like we're getting not a full sense of the numbers.
Yeah, well, what we recommend is that anyone, so if you test positive, we recommend that anyone in that house, at a minimum, follow up with their PCP. What we're seeing will happen is they'll do what's called a presumed positive. So if you test positive and then people that live in your house start developing symptoms, they're not necessarily going to test that person. They're going to just assume, all right, you've been living in a house with a confirmed positive, therefore you're a presumed positive, and you therefore are going to be treated as a positive. They may or may not test. What we recommend is, without a doubt, you need to follow up at a minimum with your PCP, your local health providers at a minimum, and then take their advice. They may want you to get tested. They may just presume that you're a positive, but your close contact should absolutely follow up.
All right. I just feel like that's such a missing piece, not only for our community, but so many other communities, like unless you have like the respiratory, distress, then you probably know you have it, but you don't want to get tested. And I just feel like there's probably such a false pretense of numbers out there. It's kind of scary.
It's you're 100% accurate on that, and the number that we report. So even if the last number that we officially reported, we're at 25. Going off what I had just said to you, I mean, how many people are out there that have been presumed positive, but it's not a confirmed case because they never got tested? So the number of 25 could easily be 60, 70. We really don't know. All that we have is the confirmed cases. So again, that's why we suggest that you at least follow up with a PCP. I would love to see everyone get tested. They're not there yet with the testing, and I think that's their reasoning behind not testing everyone. But hopefully we get there with the testing, because I mean, the numbers are extremely skewed between what is actually confirmed and the presumed positives that we don't really know about.
All right. And then one more question. The federal guidelines that the president has set forth does entail summer camps in the phase 1. So because I have to look into that as well. So you might want to look at that, but I do have a call into both the senator and the representative to see. So I think summer camps are kind of covered under phase 1, but I'm with you. Like, I think we all need to have better clarification.
Yeah, and we were supposed to have the discussion, I believe, this week, and we may even have it on our Friday phone call, but the Community Tracing Collaborative really picked up a lot of steam last week. So our calls on Tuesdays, where we normally discuss issues, we focused 100% yesterday on the Tracing Collaborative. So it might get touched on this week on our Friday call, but it may be Tuesday. But I know that question's come up quite a bit throughout the state. So it's going to be an interesting discussion on that.
Yeah, it's definitely on the phase 1 of the president's recommendation. But anyway, David, do you think that some of that money that we're getting will pay for both the added or the extra hours for both Lori and Derek?
I know the 5,500 that Derek has got to date can be used for the hours, and we've already discussed that as far as Laurie, because she's putting in a lot more time than we budgeted. As far as that 2.5 billion, my understanding is that we're going to need to apply for that. That's going to be like a reimbursement kind of program. So they are still sort of feeling their way around in terms of what the federal requirements are going to be in terms of guidelines, and waiting to hear from the state basically as to what those official guidelines will be. They did outline 3 parameters, which were the 3 I outlined. It has to be COVID related. It can't be something that's already budgeted for as part of our operational budget. It can't be used for revenue, loss of revenue, and that it has to fall between March 1 and December 31.
Okay,
And
thank you.
If I can just add to that 2 points. The 5,500 that I received, I can use for Lori. I can't use any of that for me. It could only be for nurses. And secondly, I actually got another 5,500 today for that same account. So that actually is now up to, that 5,500 is actually 11,000 now. And again,
Right.
I can use that for Lori's hours, and I can use it for COVID related supplies. So the signs that we made last week came out of that grant money. But that being said, I can't supplement myself at all throughout that money.
All right. That's going to be helpful as far as Laurie goes, because she's putting in the hours.
Oh yeah, it's going to be extremely helpful as far as Lori goes. But yeah, I can't do anything with myself on that money.
All right, Charlie, do you have anything?
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
listening.
George, do you have anything?
No questions.
All right, then anybody have anything else that they want to add? Great. All right, let's go enjoy that sunshine, sort of.
Yeah. All right, take care.
Just wear your snowsuit when you're outside because it's
We
freezing.
I heard it's cold out there. Haven't been out.
I'm on my way to a perk test right now. I'll let you know how cold it is.
All right, stay safe, everybody. Have a great day. I will adjourn the
forget-
meeting. Yes. Can I have a
to
motion?
adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
George, you got a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Charlie,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
and Lisa. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too, take care.
Take-
Bye. David, I'll
Bye,
catch up with
everybody.
you in a minute.
All right, okay.
All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Tim. Feel better.
Thank you.